Hey guys, it's Julia, and today is Saturday, April 2nd, and today is my 6th weekly update video, as well as transplanting the first of the seedlings into their bigger buckets. Now I realize in my update videos I've kind of just been showing the plants, but for the last couple of weeks really I've just been waiting for them to grow. So in general, I've been leaving the seedlings outside because it's a warm winter, it's been a warm spring, and I've only brought them in a couple of times for a threat of a freezing night, and also when there was a couple of strong storms that had hail. And while I want the plants to be strong and to be able to withstand that, they're still babies, and I didn't want them to die because I was just leaving them out there. Other than that, they've just been getting lots of sunshine and a little bit of rain, and I've been watering them when they seem dry. It is really windy outside today, so I'm going to take the video, and if it's too windy I may mute the sound. So just bear with me as I show you how the plants are doing. And once I've showed you the plants, I will be also transplanting zucchini, yellow squash, a couple of the pepper plants, and lemon cucumbers. Thanks. Alright you guys, here is my herb garden so far. The cilantro, the sage looks like it's doing really well in both places. My thyme seems to be doing okay. This oregano's going strong, and my basils aren't looking too hot. I haven't figured out, I guess, how to take care of them right yet. And these are the new cilantros I planted. Now I just kind of went crazy and just planted a whole bunch of seeds since I realized that they weren't just super bushy yet, and so if I need to spread them out I can. They look like they're doing really well. Now I've been keeping those inside when it's been really windy, just for a little bit of extra protection. I also didn't want them to get blown over, but they seem to be doing pretty good. This is the green onion plants, and they seem to be doing pretty well if I can just keep the dog out of them. Now, I really don't know what I'm expecting from them as far as leaves go, because I know green onions just grow up like what they look like now, so we'll see how that goes. These are my carrots. You remember watching me plant those carrots a while back. This is what the seedlings look like now, and it is time for me to thin these out a bit, which kind of makes me sad, but it's got to be done so that they can grow. This is the purple bell pepper plant. It doesn't seem to be changing much, but it does look like it's getting some new leaves down there on the stem. These are the wildflowers I planted. I actually moved them to a bigger bucket so that they could spread out. Here I have the poblano pepper plant. Now it looks like it's going really well, and if I look at it a little bit closer, let me see, let me find one real quick. Let me look. If you look right here where my thumb is, I don't know if you can see those, it looks like it's going to start putting out little blooms or little fruits or something soon. Now, I've never had a pepper plant, so I don't know exactly what to expect, but I guess I will find out. Now, over here is that sad leftover of my strawberry plant, but it did put out a new leaf, and it's got something else coming up, and I'm gonna just see if it can recover for now. Now this is a lettuce plant that I moved to its own bucket because I figured when it gets hot maybe I can bring it inside and have an inside lettuce. It's doing okay. It's kind of got a little bit limp, a little bit wilty looking, but some water seems to have cheered it up a bit, and I think it may just be adjusting to being in a different container. Now here's the rest of my lettuce, and there's still too much for this small container, but isn't it just beautiful? Look, that's one lettuce plant there, and I just think that it is so cool. And that's 3 there, so I'm gonna have to thin those out for sure. But I just think that is super neat. And my spinach is doing really well too, and I just think they're super cool looking. And this is the plant that I've replanted like 6 times, and it looks like it's recovering also. This collection of seedlings is really kind of the Sadie ate them or they're not doing good enough to continue with pile. It's kind of a sad collection there. And then in this container, I have the seedlings that are still doing well enough to have them in the running. Now, these three are lemon cucumber plants. They all kind of came up together. I think that they were something that was left over when my egg carton spilled, and so I just stuck them all together. There's something I'm going to transplant today, and if nothing else, I really want to keep this middle one. It's got a couple of good true leaves, and it looks strong and straight, so we'll see how that goes. This is my jalapeno pepper plant. After the trauma of being brought to my backyard, it seems to be recovering. This is the zucchini plant that I've decided that I'm going to transplant. Now, Sadie ate the true leaves off of King of the Seedlings over there, so I'm going to go with this one since it still has all of its leaves and it's standing up straight and strong. And then she did the same thing to my yellow squash, so this is actually going to be the one I transplant for that. Now this is my gypsy pepper plants. There's actually two in there, and they're still not recovering very well from a marquee attack, so we'll see what happens. So those are what I'm transplanting today. But I also have some cucumber plants that look like they're doing well. Now that's cucumbers as well. All of these here are Sweet 100s. I'm not sure how well they're doing. They're not leggy like the other ones have been. So, and they're putting out true leaves, so we'll see what happens there. These two are the pepper plants I started from seed. These are the Roma tomato plants, and they're doing fairly well. Another zucchini and squash plants. So, my seedlings seem to be doing okay, and now it's time to transplant. These are the buckets that I have prepared for transplanting the seedlings. I have drilled holes in the bottom and put some landscaping fabric inside of them to keep the soil from escaping and to slow the drainage of water so that it doesn't all just pour out the bottom. The two 5-gallon buckets will be for the zucchini and the yellow squash. The two 2-gallon buckets will be for the peppers because I'm not sure yet if they're going to do anything more or if the trauma of Sadie attacking them on their first day here has stunted their production. And I figure if they turn out to do well, I can move them to a larger bucket when needed. And this one 4-gallon bucket is the one I'm going to put the lemon cucumbers in. So yeah, with the 2 squash plants, I actually have some 1/2-gallon milk containers that I will be putting in the soil with them, and they'll have holes in them and will be used for kind of a slow water system. Alright guys, as you can see, I've started putting the soil in the buckets. What I did was first I put a layer of soil just enough to make sure the landscape fabric didn't go wonky and that it stayed where I wanted it. And then I filled it up with soil as as much as I wanted to right now, and I've started putting this milk jug into this bucket for the deep watering with the holes pointed downwards. Now it looks like it's taking up more room than I wanted it to, but I still think that the plants will be okay with that. My next step will be to water them and then put in the seedlings, and I did water the seedlings earlier this morning so they'd be easier to transplant. Okay, so now I have soil in my buckets and I've watered them except for the very top, which I added. And this is my zucchini plants. He's got a few true leaves hanging out there. I watered it earlier, so this should make it easier to come out. Wow, look at the roots of that thing. So I'm just gonna loosen them up a little bit and put them down in here and make the soil even with where it was in the cup. And once I've done that with all of these plants, I will water them again, get them acclimated, and add any more soil if I need to. Okay, so one last look before I wrap this video up. Here is the jalapeno plant, freshly transplanted. The gypsy peppers, freshly transplanted. Here is the zucchini plant, which you actually watched me transplant, and in addition to giving it the hopefully deep watering milk jug, I have put a cage around it, and the yellow squash as well. Maybe those will also help protect it from Sadie, we'll see. And the last one, the newly transplanted lemon cucumber plants. Now, I may wind up having to kill off two of these if they don't naturally do it themselves, so that it has enough room to grow the way it's supposed to. So I know you may be saying, Julia, why did you cage a zucchini plant and a squash plant? But these are plants that are supposed to sprawl out. And I thought, and I've read that you can train them to grow up, and so I thought caging them might give them an opportunity to grow better, as well as make it easier to get to the fruits. And this is my experiment, so why not experiment with the things that I want to see if they work or if they don't work. And I may wind up staking the peppers as well, and the reason that I did that, they can become weak and fall over with the weight of their fruit, and so I thought the cage would help with that as well. This project is taking a lot more soil than I thought it would, and that's the biggest expense so far out of all of it, is the soil. So I probably need at least 4 more bags for 2 tomato plants, a cucumber plant, and another pepper plant. I think that's all I have to fill up the buckets. So we'll see how that goes. So far, I think I've used, I used 3 whole bags today. I think I've been through 7 or 8 bags of soil already, which I really didn't expect it to take that many, but if I was doing a raised bed, I'm sure that would be my biggest expense as well. So thank you for hanging out with me and watching my experiment, watching my garden grow. Please leave a like and a subscribe, and check out my companion blog posts, and leave me a message on Twitter or Instagram, and I would be happy to answer any questions or anything that anybody has for me. Thank you guys. Have a good one.